Rolling Prairie, Kankakee, LaPorte Center, Michigan City, Michigan. These are just some of the townships in LaPorte County, being the second largest county in the state of Indiana with 21 townships. There's still 18 more not mentioned, and among these counties, Glenna hides one of Indiana's most haunted cemeteries. The Posey Chapel, a place that used to hold church and funeral services for many years, with tombstones dating back to the 19th century. And still to this day, people are still burying their loved ones. But over the years, Posey Chapel has been deemed one of Indiana's most haunted cemeteries.
Before we talk about the ghost stories, the paranormal encounters, Posey Chapel has so much more to offer. The history, the people who are buried here. So let's start. The history of Posey Chapel starts off in 1833 with a pioneer by the name of Whiteman Gott, who came here with a bunch of other pioneers when it was still a forest. It was called Glenna Woods at the time. Now, right now, I'm at the gravesite of Whiteman Gott, but his tombstone's so low to the ground, I couldn't catch the both of us in one shot, even with me kneeling down. So I'll show a clip of that, of his tombstone. But the pioneers who came here in 1833 were very religious, God-fearing people. They wanted a church at once, and what they could do, and what they did, is held church services in Whiteman Gott's own home. Now, I did find an article stating that in 1828, right in this very spot, the Martin family held church services in their wagon. And right now, I'm standing at the grave of Isaac Webb Martin. That's going to be a name you're going to hear throughout this whole thing. 8 years using Whiteman Gott's house as a church was pretty successful, but in 1841, it came down to it where they had to have an official building for worship. And the man to do that was Wade Posey. And helping him was Whiteman Gott himself, donating the land. Everyone from miles and miles everywhere came to help and built a little small cabin on the hill. And they officially named it Wade Posey, after the man who helped them. So right now we're at Thorntown Cemetery visiting the grave of Wade Posey, the very man that Posey Chapel was named after. Now, it's kind of a side thing away from Posey Chapel because this cemetery was 2.5 hours away. But Wade Posey is the man who was the man that they named Posey Chapel after. He was born in South Carolina on May 10th, 1807. And he died on October 14th, 1861, at the age of 54. He was doing a preaching in Jefferson, Indiana, and was ill, and he fell ill and eventually died. Now, when I was doing research on this, he was like one of the hardest people to find anything about. I messaged so many librarians, and it was the Indiana State Library that got to me with his obituary, with everything. And right now, even though you guys can't see it, I'm standing right next to his wife's graves, and the state of the library said that his grave is unmarked. So right now, I'm standing at an unmarked grave that's right next to hers, which I'm assuming it's his grave because back then, with him being a reverend, they were super Christian people. So it's an assumption. We really can't truly know if it's his, but it's an assumption that since he was a reverend, hardcore with the Christianity, that he's buried right next to his wife. We're back at Posey. 1855. William Aston contract to erect a new building of worship. Samuel Sutherland donated the lumber to build this building, and soon after, they built a little white church, plain white, and the seats were divided. On the left side was the men, and on the right side was the women. Because back in the time, it was seen like, I don't know how to explain it, like not normal for a woman to sit in the man's seat, and a man can sit in the woman's seat. So they were divided. One, the pioneers who helped Glenna Township and helped Posey Chapel become what it is today, Reitman sadly never got to see the little white church, as in January 5th, 1852, while filing trees for ties for the railroad, Reitman sadly got struck by a tree and killed. And what's even sadder is that the first funeral held at the Posey Chapel was his daughter Mary Gott, who died at the age of 16. At the grave of William Adams Martin, a preacher, and like I said, you might hear the name Martin familiar because his dad is Isaac Webb Martin, one of the first settlers here. But William Adams Martin preached the last summons at the little cabin, and he preached the very first one in the little white church that they officially built. Now, over the years, the chapel itself has stopped its church services and all that in 1953, and it became more of a tour site of this landscape and the history of it until 1972, until the fire happened. Now, I want to point to a sign up there, private property, and there's a good reason why this sign is posted up there. Now, I read an article from '97, I believe, and this place was a victim of vandalism, and that damage and that article resulted out to $3,000, which in today's money, that is $6,000. Now, what really sucks about it is that the article said that this happens at least once a month. Now, I just can't put into words how much that sucks, because this place is so beautiful, and to have people over here trashing it is really, it's really the epitome of, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know if I used the word right, but it's a down low for people to come here and to vandalize, do whatever they want, spray paint. Right now, we are at Miller Griffin Cemetery, where Steve Lang and David Mangas back in 1960s helped restore some of these tombstones behind me. We have an interview with them today.
The veterans group puts flags on everything. But yeah, when we first came out here, There were a lot of them that looked like that one over there, there in multiple parts.
Yeah. And there were, I don't remember any of these nice ones, more modern looking ones. So someone has come in and
Yeah.
improved it.
Yes.
Some family members maybe upgraded some of the nice ones.
Yeah, when well, I don't know who it was. Was it your dad that figured that found this out here, or heard about it or something?
I had noticed it because we run back and forth into the port to go to church and stuff. And I noticed this was all open field out here.
Yeah.
So you could see it real well. And all it looked like was a bunch of brush, head-high brush. So I don't know how we got lined up to make this our Eagle project.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't me. I mean, we were both looking for an Eagle project, and
Yeah, community service type projects.
yeah. In case you're not familiar, your Eagle project is like your final exam for college, or your thesis or whatever. You've already done all of the work. I think back then you had like 21 merit badges that you had to earn and stuff like that. And then you got to do a big service project. You got to publicize it, and that's why we had the article in the paper. That was part of the project. You had to publicize what you were doing,
That's fascinating.
and we were both looking at the same time for a project, and Dave actually was the one who came up with hey, there's a 70, would you? Sounds good to me.
Looked like it would have been too much for one 13-year-old kid to do. So we ganged up on it.
And when I first came out here and looked at it, and I'm thinking it might be a little much for two 13-year-old kids.
Yeah. I don't remember it being this big, but it must have been, because
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, this is a lot bigger than I remember.
Yeah.
There was no fence,
right.
and there were a few of the tombstones that were actually sticking up above the brush and so forth.
So do you guys believe in the ghost stories of Posey Chapel, or even if this place has ghost stories?
I don't know. I don't know that I believe in ghost stories, but I mean, they're interesting. When my wife and I go on vacation, we go places like Gettysburg and so forth. We always go on the ghost walks, and they're interesting historically as far as I'm concerned. But other than being shot once by a ghost at Gettysburg, or at least my wife said that's what it was. We were on a ghost walk at Gettysburg, and it was right along the edge of the battlefield, and the guide was talking, and I looked down and my arm's bleeding. And said, well, how that happened, I don't remember bumping into anything or being scratched. And my wife said, well, you must have gotten shot. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm not much of a ghost believer, I guess.
'Cause I tell people all the time, like, I believe in ghosts, but I don't believe in ghost stories. There's a huge difference, because stories are easily made up and stuff. Speaking of, like, before doing this documentary, I'm a writer, and I wrote so many horror movie scripts and all that, so I tell people, like, if it seems like I can make it up, it's probably made up.
Well, like I said, the ones most of them that I've heard they start with something that really happened, and then somebody stretches
Which is probably an excellent way to describe Posey, because since no one's heard of ghost stories before the fire, probably what happened when the fire started, everyone started making these stories up, and like you said, stretching out the truth, what actually happened.
well, that's as we were saying earlier, I don't think either one of us heard any ghost stories about Posey Chapel, and it was just it was an old church and cemetery that was out in the middle of Galena Township.
That's fascinating. So, what's your advice to anyone who's trying to do what you guys did, to restoration of cemeteries, tombstones?
Well, first of all, contact every cemetery has a supervisor. I don't know what you would call them, but they have a supervisory group, and contact them. Like all of the cemeteries in LaPorte County, there is the county cemetery board that oversees all of the maintenance and makes sure that they're maintained and so forth. Now, some of these separate ones, like Rolling Prairie, for example, I know they have their own, but they're supervised by the county, but they have their own, they take care of their own maintenance and so forth. But so contact them first and let them know what you want to do.
It was a pretty rewarding project.
Yeah.
To clean this place up.
So, what do you guys got to say to the people who vandalize cemeteries? Because this whole thing's like anti-vandalizing.
Yeah. I've got no idea why you would do that. I've got no idea, not just cemeteries. I got no idea why you need to paint on the walls of buildings and so forth. I guess if it's your own building, go ahead and paint on it. But but other than that, I don't understand.
Me neither. In a cemetery, it's pretty disrespectful for the families and all the good people, the veterans that have served. So that's why it's illegal to do that. But mostly seems like when they get caught, it's teenagers, boys, probably too much testosterone, and they don't know how to release their energy in a more productive way. So they come in and for some laughs, they tip over some tombstones. They think it's pretty funny.
Well, I do thank you guys for being here today. Like, this means a lot,
It's fun to return, and
Yeah.
it's pretty nice how they've kept it up. And I don't know if we started that, if they were real good about keeping it up and improving it.
After we got it done, I don't know, but
after it was in the newspaper, maybe somebody felt a little guilty, and hey, we better take care of that cemetery. It's been neglected. So.
because it was definitely a major change from what we were doing.
Very nice.
Because even in the newspaper, it didn't even have the name. It said really old cemetery and just gave the coordinates in the newspaper. It didn't even have the name of the cemetery.
Yeah.
Well, till I after college, I taught in northern Indiana for a while, and then we moved to Illinois, and I lived in Illinois for 30 years. Lived and taught in Illinois for 30 years, and I didn't know it had a name until when we were coming home one day, and somebody had put up the sign out there. And I go, oh, it's got a name.
Yeah, same with me.
So I do a lot of location videos myself, and a lot of them happen to be in cemeteries. And you should always be respectful. These are people's loved ones, where actual people are buried. And first off, not only just be respectful, but vandalism is definitely, in a cemetery, I mean, come on, that is the lowest of the low. I mean, spray painting or destroying headstones or anything like that. Be respectful. This is a place of rest. It's a sacred place to these people. It's the memory of their families, and you should definitely treat it with the utmost respect.
Hi, I'm Adam Green, the director of the Hatchet franchise and the movie Frozen. Not the Disney one, unless you like the Disney one better than I did that one. You know, if you're gonna graffiti a cemetery, there's a special place in hell for you. Imagine if somebody did that to your loved ones. It might seem really fun to, you know, take a can of spray paint and write something on a gravestone, but that's only if you're an asshole. Those are the only kinds of people who do that. So next time you're walking by a cemetery, maybe show some respect, or the dead might come for you.
With the leaves changing color and falling, and the weather getting colder, it's that time of season again. Halloween is around the corner, so what perfect time than now to talk about the ghost stories.
So before we talk about the ghost stories, we gotta talk about the fire of 72. Which really happened in January, and it really started off when 3 Michigan men came to Posey Chapel, so God knows what they were doing, partying, whatever. But basically, the church was set on fire. The police that morning apprehended the men, and they were sent to jail on a $5,000 bond. It's stupid. Who knows what? You know, we all came up with our conclusion what their motive was. I don't think, me personally, I don't think it was intentional. That maybe since it was winter, they came here, and Indiana is known for harsh winters. They just came here to party, to get away from it all. Maybe they just started the fire to warm themselves. Because I don't even think the church had a fire pit. Who knows, really? And it just got out of hand, and they just freaked out, cut out, which is very hard to stomach. And such a beautiful church burnt down, but a pavilion was built in 1989, which is something that we're standing in right now to memorialize the church that stood here. Because practically the pavilion that's here right now is supposedly the same size as the church, but it's kind of small. So I think the pictures of the church before it was set on fire, it seemed a lot bigger. So that's just how my perspective of it is. So the first story, and this spot might have looked familiar because I was here earlier talking about the history of Posey Chapel. But the first story, after the church burnt down, the priest supposedly hung himself right on this tree right here. And I went through the death records, and there's nothing. No one died on this property. It's just stories. Because another one made up was that during prom night, a girlfriend was supposed to meet her boyfriend in the pavilion over there. He ditched her, and in sadness, she took her own life by hanging herself inside that pavilion, which again never happened. So another story is that at night you will hear demonic animal noises in the woods. Eyes will follow you. And there's a black cat that will appear on a child's gravestone. They never say what child, and I really don't want to go around filming everybody because, like I said, it's just out of respect for the family. Because where I am right now, there's a lot of modern tombstones because, once again, people are still being buried out here. So, just out of respect, I'm not going to go to a random child's grave and film it. But the demonic animal noises could be explained by the horse farm that's just right over there. I was trying to film it, but they're so close that I don't want to disturb the farmers or nothing. Because these past months I've been filming it, you know, I hear the farmers talking and stuff, and it's not even like loud. They're just talking like how I am to you guys. Like that's how close the farm in Posey Chapel is. So at night, when you come in here and you're not familiar with a horse or a goat sounds like, it would sound pretty terrifying. You know, I know if I was out here at night and I heard something I didn't recognize, it probably freaked me the hell out. Another urban legend from Posey Chapel is that the spirit of Mary Goit haunts here, supposedly. Now, earlier I was talking about her and her father, Reitman, and I was saying Got, but it's pronounced Goit, so my bad on that. And another tale is that if you bring an acoustic guitar here and you start playing it, there's said to be a woman singing. Is it Mary Goit? Who knows? There are a couple more urban legends about Posey Chapel that I didn't know until filming here, doing the research, fun stuff like that. Because day one of filming this video, someone told me about the Posey curse. Now, if you know this and you still walk through the gate, they said that you are cursed. The people who have been cursed said that they are sick, almost deadly sick. And like I said, I've been filming this for a few months now and I'm fine. So that's that, I guess. So another story, and I didn't notice until I was doing research, is that there's a creepypasta about Posey Chapel. In all fairness, it may not be this Posey Chapel, but I went to the website. I went to see if the author mentions anything where his inspiration is and stuff, and nothing came up. But we know creepypastas. It's a website where you basically write a story and it gets out on the internet. Like Suicide Squidward was one of them. I'm trying to think of more. Jeff the Killer, Slenderman. I think Slenderman. I'm not too, you know, on it with my creepypastas, but the story goes that there's 3 young boys that took a trail out to Posey Chapel, and one of the grave sites, they found a little boy, and when the little boy turned around, his eyes were black, like he had no soul, like the black-eyed children. And so that night, when that boy was sleeping, the little boy kept haunting his dreams about Posey Chapel, and it scared him to death, where he was frightened to death. You know, like again, in all fairness, I don't know if it's this Posey Chapel, but when you look up Posey Chapel, the creepypasta, the videos, 2 videos about the creepypasta pops up. So I thought that was at least noteworthy to talk about. Now I'm standing back in front of the pavilion because another legend goes that during the snowfall, winter, no snow will get on the pavilion. Like as soon as snow hits it, it'll melt just like that. So on my original day of filming the ghost story segment, I forgot another one. They say at night when you pull out from the cemetery that there will be a pair of headlights following you throughout your way. And I think that's happened to me a few times before, not at night, because I don't recommend coming here at night, trespassing. But I think what really could explain that is that Posey Chapel is on a hill, and doing the research on the history, people thought it was the hill where the tombstones are at. But technically speaking, this whole place is on the hill. So when you're driving when you're pulling out and there's someone behind you, I don't want to make up words and say hilly, but when you're driving with a bunch of hills, and if you live out nowhere or somewhere with a lot of hills, you would know this. You can't always see who's behind you, especially over a hill. So I think that could be it. That's just my opinion, my explanation. Now, I'm not making stuff up for the video. I didn't even take my stick with me. I'm holding my stand. Because right after I filmed that part, I swear I heard someone coughing over here. Which, ironically kind of is a great segue to what I've experienced while filming for Posey. Like, not just that, but over by this tree over here, I was filming and I had the camera set up on the slope, and I saw when I was filming it, I saw it like caving about to fall. So I hurried up and I caught it, and since I messed my shot up, I yelled, "God damn it!" And right from this the pavilion, I heard pavilion. My bad. I heard knocking. So it was kind of freaky as hell. Another thing I want to talk about is when I was first filming all the ghost stories and stuff. I was in the pavilion like I am right now, and from the roof, it was a bunch of like banging and shit. Now it could be a tree, but like it was just so weird because now you don't even hear it and it's windy. But at the time when I was filming, it was happening as I was filming, but none of you can hear it because I had my microphone on. So I took my microphone off so you can hear it, and like I said, it stopped. It completely stopped. Just one of those weird occurrences things. Posey Chapel definitely has some weight to it when it comes to the paranormal. I've experienced stuff, and I know other people have. Like, and this was such fun to do, the filming the whole summer, and I hope to keep doing this. But for Posey Chapel, I think that's the close on the ghost stories. All I gotta say is just be safe out there, people.